Ready, set, go.
Hey Chi Alpha, welcome to another night of Chi Alpha Live. Thank you guys for joining us, for tuning in. We're so glad you're here. I just want to say, if you have not been connected with people this semester, I know connection is super weird because we're virtual and all that fun stuff. If you are not connected, we want you to be connected. And there's still ways to do that, even if things look a little different this semester. And the best way you can do that is to be involved in a Connect group. So you can check out our Instagram for all that information. You can contact any of us leaders or staff to find out more. But a Connect group is where you're going to grow with people, where you're going to talk about real things, about Jesus, about your faith, and just have a blast while you're at it. I mean, who doesn't want more friends? So
I need more friends.
He does. So get involved in a Connect group. But we're just going to take some time and worship before we jump into the rest of the night. And so wherever you're at, I just encourage you guys to get into a posture whatever worship looks like for you as we jump into this. The weapon may be formed, but it won't prosper. When the darkness falls, it won't prevail. 'Cause the God I serve knows only how to triumph. And my God will never fail. No, my God will never fail. And I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. And there's power in the mighty name of Jesus. And every war he wages, he will win. Oh, I'm not backing down from any giant. I know, 'cause I know how this story ends. Yes, we do. Sing, I know how this story ends. And I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. And I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. And I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. Oh, it belongs to you, Lord. Oh, sing, you take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turned it for good. You turned it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turned it for good. You turned it for good. That's what you do. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. And you take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. And I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Yes, you do. And you take what the enemy meant for evil,
to see things like you do. God, I look to you. You're where my help comes from. Give me wisdom. You know just what to do, yes, God. God, I look to you, and I won't be overwhelmed. Give me vision to see things like you do. God, I look to you. You're where my help comes from. Give me wisdom. You know just what to do, yeah. And I will love you, Lord, my strength. And I will love you, Lord, my shield. I will love you, Lord, my rock. Forever all my days, I will love you, God. God, I look to you. I won't be overwhelmed. Give me vision to see things like you do. God, I look to you. You're where my help comes from. Give me wisdom. You know just what to do, yes, God. I will love you, Lord, my strength. And I will love you, Lord, my shield. And I will love you, Lord, my rock. Forever all my days, I will love you, God. Hallelujah, our God reigns. And hallelujah, our God reigns. Hallelujah, our God reigns. Forever all my days, I will love you, God. Hallelujah, our God reigns. Hallelujah, our God reigns. Hallelujah, our God reigns. Forever all my days. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, our God reigns. Hallelujah, our God reigns. Hallelujah, our God reigns. Forever all my days. Hallelujah. I will love you, Lord, my strength. And I will love you, Lord, my shield. And I will love you, Lord, my rock. Forever all my days, I will love you, God. God, we just want to thank you. We want to thank you for all the time that you've given us tonight to just simply sit in your presence and realize just how much you love us. We can never truly comprehend how much that is because you're God. And that's the amazing thing about it. is that no matter what we're going through, no matter what we're told, we know that no matter what we're doing, no matter what we've done, you're there for us every step of the way. You're always there to love us, no matter who we are. And that's something that's truly beautiful and something that I think is going to help me, at least, and I hope you too, be able to just get through all those hard moments. When you feel like you're in a ditch you can't get out of, He's the one that's there to give you the ladder. He's the one to help you back up. He'll bring you to heights that you've never been to before. And I just want to pray, God, that we all have that kind of strength going into this week and going into the rest of this year, God. Amen.
This is not what you thought it would be. Your dreams collide with reality. You're lost in the fog, no answer in sight. You can't find a pill to make it alright. What would I give to make it alright? If you ever start doubting, when it's hard to keep hoping, I just want you to know that I believe in you. When you're tired of fighting, and it feels like you're broken, I just want you to know that I believe in you. Running a race with no finish line. Now you're in the fight of your whole life. You work twice as hard to get half as far. Nobody knows the hero you are. I want you to know the hero you are. If you ever start doubting, when it's hard to keep hoping, I just want you to know that I believe in you. When you're tired of fighting, and you feel like you're broken, I just want you to know that I believe in you. Look how far you've come, what you've already done. I want you to know that I believe in you. Whenever you forget, I'll say it all again. If you ever start doubting, when it's hard to keep hoping, I just want you to know that I believe in you. When you're tired of fighting, and you feel like you're broken, I just want you to know that I believe in you. I believe in you.
Hey everybody, how you doing? My name's Steven. I'm the husband in the video that you just watched. I just watched it myself just to get myself kind of in the same headspace, and I had to take a second to recover. I cry pretty much every time I watch that video or hear that song. JJ Heller and Dave are really good friends of ours, and they well, they didn't necessarily write that song specifically for us, but as they were writing it, we were in the back of their minds. That's what they told us. But we were in the back of their minds as they were writing it, wondering if each line would resonate with us and if it would properly tell our story. And we are super happy with the result of that. So we feel super honored and grateful that they wrote that song kind of with us in mind, which is crazy because I sat where you guys are sitting right now. I grew up in Phoenix. I grew up in Arizona. My wife also grew up in Phoenix in Arizona. We went to the same high school. That was how we met and how we kind of started to get to know each other. But I went to ASU. My whole family went to ASU. I was a percussion performance major, orchestral performance with percussion. So I was over by Gamage, over in the music buildings. But I also worked in Res Life. So I kind of bounced around all over ASU. And I know things look really different right now with the pandemic and all that. But yeah, just it's really cool to be talking with all of you because I was there. I'm 29 now, so I graduated in 2013. So I was there from 2009 to 2013. So like 10 years ago, which is kind of insane. It's crazy how fast time flies. But I lived in Hayden South. Shout out to anybody living in Hayden South, and lived in Best as well. And fun fact, I actually, the first message that I sent to my wife, my now wife, it was then not my wife. I was living in Hayden South, and I don't know if they still do bunk beds, but there was like a bunk bed on the left and the bunk bed on the right. And I had my desk set up underneath, like I had my bed on top and put the desk underneath. And that was when I sent a Facebook message to her, just saying, "Hey, how are you? How have you been?" Because we hadn't talked in a few years. I graduated high school before she did, and we just fell out of touch. And so, anyway, I don't know what that says about Hayden South. I can't like guarantee that if you're there and you do the same thing that you will find your future wife. But hey, that's what happened to me. Pastor Sean asked me to come, and you guys were talking about love this month in February, Valentine's Day, love month, woohoo! He asked me, the question was, what does love look like in real life? How do you choose love? What does it mean to choose to love somebody every day? And I have a lot of thoughts on this, but to give you some context, you just watched this video of us, right? And you got this kind of little glimpse into our day-to-day life. That video is a very accurate depiction of our life right now, right? Like that's the house we're in right now. They just released that video. I'm in the same office as I was in the shot. So, I wish I could pick you up and take you around to show you kind of where we are outside. Cause it's crazy how far we've come in just, a few years, but, we've been married 7 years, this past January. So we got married when we were 22. My senior year of college, I proposed, I think, ? Yes. And then we got married in 2014. So, and it's been, so, I mean, kind of young, but also not. It's fine. Don't let anybody tell you if you're like too young or whatever. That's a whole other conversation. You can message me one-on-one if you want to talk about like marriage and relationship, things like that. But in terms of walking out love, so I've thought about this a lot in these last few days, and, love, it brings up a lot of different emotions, especially if you either haven't been in love before, or you aren't in a relationship, or if you are in a relationship, you haven't really had to go through things together yet, and which is fine. There's a lot of people that I know, a lot of my friends, my couple friends, like they've dated and they've gotten married and they've kind of gone through life without a lot of resistance and without a lot of trouble or headache, which is great. I'm happy for that. If you can avoid as much suffering, as you can, that's great. But there's also something to be said for going through hard things together, and suffering. Suffering, I feel like can create a very strong bond if both people are kind of in it together. But all that to say, marriage in and of itself, relationships in and of themselves are pretty hard. There's a lot that goes on in there anyway. And so I feel like this is relevant no matter if you've been married, which I don't know if any of you are, probably not, but or if you've been in a relationship, or if you want to be in a relationship. And what I'm going to be talking about applies not just to romantic relationships, but it applies to friendships. It applies to actually walking out the love of God in the real world, to your neighbors, to your friends, to people that you maybe don't get along with, things like that. And so to get right to it, my answer to that question, what does it mean to walk out love? What does love look like in real life? Love is a feeling, right? Like we feel love, we feel emotion, there's lots of different kinds of love, right? There's brotherly love, there's friendship love, there's familial love, there's God's kind of all-encompassing unconditional love, and then there's romantic love. And so that's valid, right? Like you've got all those different kinds of loves, and those, you feel the attraction to somebody else. You feel like you want to get to know the person. That was how I first, started really being drawn to Christina, my wife. And, I wanted to get to know her better. And as I kept getting to know her better, I kept wanting to, I was like, there's so much to you. And I want to I want to keep hearing more about what you have to say and like how you think about the world. And I felt that, right? So that's a feeling. Love is also dramatic gestures, right? So like Valentine's Day is, I think, past by the time you're watching this, but like, that's like the ultimate, right? Like you have to do something big on Valentine's Day, or you're a terrible boyfriend or husband or whatever. Or if not terrible, at the very least, just not totally with it. So take note, guys, and this is from somebody who has missed Valentine's Day in the past or has not made a big deal of them. Because I'm like, whatever, it's another day. That's wrong. Don't do that. Valentine's Day is very important. So make a big deal of it. Put it in your calendar, set yourself a reminder. Don't leave it till like the 13th and you go, oh, bleep, like I have nothing. Plan that out. Same thing for birthdays and anniversaries. Those are the big three: birthdays, anniversaries, Valentine's Day. Great. So it's those big actions, and but that's not what I think true love really is. That's not what I think it takes to love somebody really, really well for a long time, and for the long haul. And that should be the goal, right? So one of the biggest things for me as I was going into, I've loved learning about relationship stuff for a long time. I was weird like that when I was like 11 and 12 years old. I was reading relationship books. I had no business reading relationship books, but I was really drawn to them for some reason. I would read stories in like, preteen or in like, once I got into high school, I would read stories and books, and the relationships would always be the things that kind of drew me in, that I would want to keep reading for. Like that was the thing. And so I've been just aware of relationships for a really long time. And I'm an observer, so I love to observe. If you know the Enneagram, I'm an Enneagram 9. So I'm kind of like in the background, just kind of watching everything and kind of soaking it all in. And but the thing that that I've noticed is that all the healthy relationships that I love, and the people that I respect, people that I admire, that I want to be like, and like the people who have substance, like the couples that have substance, like real, like you want to ask them the big questions in life. There's just that thing. I think you know what I'm talking about, or if you don't, I didn't have many of those people growing up in my life. The thing that I see from a lot of marriages that are lacking that depth is the small day-to-day micro decisions that you make every single day to love somebody. And that to me is what it actually means to choose love, to love somebody in the real world, real life, day to day, for the long haul. It's these everyday things, these tiny little decisions. And it's doing that, and then it's doing it for a long time. So for the long haul, it's showing up and being present for somebody when they're going through hard things, or to celebrate with them and to rejoice, to be in something with them, or to be a shoulder for them to cry on, or to be the person who kind of like punches them a little bit and says, "You're being dumb. Stop doing that." Like kind of, waking them up a little bit. You have to do that really carefully though. So don't take this as like, well, Steven said that I can show tough love to my people and be really mean. Don't do that. But that being said, that's the part of love. It's showing up every day, being in it with the person that you are showing love to. And like you could say like, oh, love is an action, right? It's not just a feeling, it's an action. And that's true. But even that, to me, that feels like kind of overdone, and it doesn't really mean anything anymore. So to give really specific examples, my wife, she's dealt with chronic health issues for a very long time. We're coming up on like 10 or 11 years now. And it started with a bunch of different things. It started with one thing, but it's turned into a lot of different things over the years. So like where we are now, the things she's dealing with, it's not necessarily what she dealt with the first year and the third year and the 8th year. And then I jumped into that 10, 11 year journey around like year 1 or 2. So I wasn't there for all of it, but I was there for most of it. And there's something to be said for people who have walked through hard things, and people who have gone through not only like big things like big health scares or cancer or like these kind of large like life stopping things. But then there's also the people who have done the chronic deal, right? Which is you're dealing with something, life will never be the same. Your day-to-day life is different in a dramatic way, and it's not going away. There is no end in sight. We don't have an answer. In that video, right? It says there is no known cure. There isn't. There is hope that she'll be able to recover to a point where she'll be close to back. She'll be managed enough to where she can function at the level that she was able to function before. But like right now, she doesn't drive because she's too dizzy to drive. Her body can't handle like looking around that fast and all the things flying by. Her literal physiological state, right? Like can't handle that. And she used to be able to drive, and that got taken away from her. And for somebody who very much craves her independence and is an incredible girl, incredible woman who would be out there just doing amazing things, that is such a hard loss. So I'm going off on kind of a tangent there, but like there's something different is what I'm trying to say about people who walk through chronic things, people who walk through hard things. And so what I've learned as somebody who's loved her through that, and she's loved me through a lot of other things, is that it's these day to day, like this thing sucks, but I love you, and therefore I'm going to show up and be here for you, even though I would rather be doing something else, right? And you have to fight some of those selfish things a lot when you are loving somebody. You have to decide what's more worth it. When I look back a year from now, I do this exercise a lot. If I look back a year from now, 10 years, if I'm on my deathbed and I think back through my life, what do I want to have said of me? That I occasionally loved my wife, that we made it through the best we could through certain things, but it was really hard for Steven and it was really hard for Christina? Or Do I want to be like, wow, he showed up, he sacrificed, he was there for his wife, and because of that, his wife was able to make it through, and like, and for people to be amazed by that love. And that might sound kind of weird to say, like, are you doing it just for other people? But like, no, but thinking from that perspective can be really helpful. Going like, what's worth it? Like, is it worth it to sacrifice, to give of yourself, to not be selfish, and to think of the other person before your own needs? Yeah, of course it is. It doesn't feel like it in the moment. You don't want to do it. But that, to me, that's what love is all about, and especially as a husband. So I firmly believe that my job as a husband is to serve my wife. That is my sole job. And there's self-care in that. Like, we all need to take care of ourselves, and I've grown a lot in that. I've had to grow a lot in that because I'm not great at that. But for me, it's all about, like, what do you need? How can I show you love in a real, practical, tangible way, day to day? How can I be present for you? That's another big thing, is presence. Like, people, I feel like so many marriages and relationships, they're not actually like with each other. And it's really weird to me. Like, I hear about other marriages, other people who've been married for, however many years, and they're our same age. And I hear about their relationships and their communication, and it makes me sad because they're not really together. They just kind of do their own thing, and they don't ever really go deep. And like, that's what it means to love somebody. Like, you're sharing your life with them, and you're sharing real, honest, and sometimes painful things with them. And so that to me is what it actually means. And like, for ways that shows up for us, and like for Christina, one of the ways, so I'm kind of the main income provider. I'm the main worker of the family. Christina does some coaching with women for health and like nutritional health and physical health and emotional health. And that's amazing. I am the bulk of the income though. So I'm working a lot. And one way that she loves me every day is that she'll make snacks and she'll make lunches for me when I'm too deep in my work at home to even like take a break, because I'm super busy or I'm working a lot. And that's really hard for her to do because she has a chronic illness. But that's the way that she goes, no, I want to do this for you, for my husband, so that you feel loved by me. And she doesn't have to do that, right? I understand if she doesn't do it, but that's an action that she's taking that she doesn't have to, that's hard for her, that's a sacrifice, and she's doing it to show love for me. And I feel so much love. I feel so loved by her every time she does that. Like, every time she walks up here, I know how hard those stairs are. I know that she's just spent however much time preparing that meal, and she's brought it up here to be with me and to eat with me. And like that blows me away every single day. And for her, kind of on the other side, like I'm thinking through 7 years, right now, try to figure out what stories to tell. But like, there have been so many nights where she's been up in the night sick. She's nauseous. She feels acid. She's dry heaving. Her body is battling itself and is sending all these crazy signals. She's in pain. And one of the harder seasons was where she was doing a treatment, and it took so much out of her. She was so weak that she couldn't prepare really any of her own food. She couldn't really do anything. She couldn't take a shower or bathe herself. So like, I would go and I would bring her in. I wouldn't always carry her. Sometimes I did. And I would, fill the bath, and I would wash her down, and I would bathe her. I would massage her muscles and her sore body. And, as she just cried, and, those are that's when love really shows up, right? It's in seasons like that. It's really easy to love somebody if you're just like, oh, I love you, you're hot, and like whatever. Like that's super easy. But like when it hits the fan, right? Like that's when it really comes out, and that's when it's tested. And the love, the real love, like true love, lasts through that. It gets stronger through that, and that's when it really shows up. And that's I've been talking about my marriage relationship, but that's true of any way that you show love. So, you know, one way that it's been interesting with our friendships, right, is the people who are in it with us day after day, week after week, month over month, and year over year. They still are here. They're asking, hey, how are you doing today? Because they know that it's different every day. You know, it's like, how are you? What can we be doing for you? How can we pray for you? Can we talk? Like, they're still in it with us. And that's love. That's real friendship love. And then there are other friends who are super flaky, or they don't really ask, or not even super flaky, but they're just like, we'll share something super honest and deep and painful with them, and it'll just kind of go away. Like they'll just go, oh man, I'm so sorry. Anyway, I'm going to go do this really cool thing or whatever. And it just like, it hurts. You go, oh man, like, why aren't you with me in this? And so to be a really good friend, like that's how you be a really good friend. That's how you show love and friendship. And then I feel like it's the same way for anybody, for loving your neighbor, like your literal neighbor, not like in this vague love everybody, but like the actual person who is like right next door to you that you like see maybe every day, or the people in your class, or if you're, I don't know. For me, I was in music, so I was always doing like ensembles and stuff, and there are some really frustrating people when you're in any type of group work environment, right? And yeah, and it's like, how do you love them? And it's a matter of being able to empathize with them and recognize that they're going through their own thing. Just because you are seeing something and you're perceiving something in some way, because you feel something in some way, doesn't mean that that's true. They're feeling something completely different from their side, and they're completely justified in their feeling where they are. And like that ability to understand that and meet somebody where they are without judgment and without criticism, that's what love actually looks like. And I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for like real true love in this crazy pandemic time and political time that we're living in, right? Like it's the most divisive time that I can remember, and it's been a real challenge to show up and love people. And loving people doesn't mean just like, you know, rolling over and letting people walk all over you. And that's something that, you know, I've tended to do in my life, but that's not real love. You know, I'm not saying when you're loving your neighbor to just, you know, serve them completely. They're still speaking from like, you know, what you believe in your sense of truth and all of that stuff. But there has to be an understanding. There has to, like, that can't, it's not like, well, you're evil because you believe that thing or whatever. Like, it's no, like, you're still a person. You're still broken. I'm still broken. And I can still love you here. So that's I feel like the romantic, the friendship, and then like actually loving people out, and then doing missions work, right? It's one thing to say, or not even like missions work, but like just going out and helping the community, helping people who need it. It's one thing to say like, oh, they need help, right? They need help, or even donating. I mean, that's wonderful. Like if you can donate, that's awesome. But like there's a whole other level when you go and you show up for people, when you go and you're in the soup kitchen, you're at the prison, you're in the homeless shelter, wherever, like you're actually there with them, and you show up. Like that's the biggest thing for me, for love, is that day after day, showing up, doing what you say you're going to do, and putting away your needs for the needs of somebody else. That is what love truly is. That's what it feels like to me. So that's that's what I have for you guys. And as one final proof of that, in our marriage, one thing that everybody asks in that video is at the end, there's all those notes, right? And they're like, oh, did you just wrote all those notes, right? Like, did you actually, like, somebody said, there's no way those notes are real, is what the person said. So implying that we sat down and wrote them all out for the shot, for the video. That is not true. I wrote all of those notes. I've written a note every day, every morning since we moved into this house, which was in November of 2019. So over a year. They're all here. So I brought them out. There's over 300 and, however many days are in a year. I'm broken. What is it? 365? Yeah. More than that in here, right? So that's an example. I write a very small note every morning. I make Christina coffee every morning, and I leave that note. And that is such a small act. It takes me maybe 30 seconds every day to write that note, to sit there and think, okay, what do I feel like Christina needs? What am I feeling that Christina needs to hear today? That the message that she needs to hear, either from me or what I feel like God is saying for her, or whatever. Just I feel like what she needs to hear. Spending that time thinking about that, writing it on this tiny little piece of paper, leaving it by her coffee. That simple thing, that's what love is over time. It's 100 of those little acts, day over day, year over year. It builds up into something really beautiful and really amazing, and something that really can't be broken. Something that's really deep. That kind of love, man. It goes deep. It lasts a lifetime, and it's the kind of love where when a famous artist has a song, they say, hey, can we film your love? Because it's really inspiring. So that's how that works. But anyway, that's it. It's been really good to talk to you guys. Thanks for listening. And if you ever want to reach out to me, Sean has my number, so you can get it from him, or I'm on Instagram, Steven.Hudson. I don't really post, so I'm not come follow me. I'm an influencer, but that's a way that you can reach out to me, that you can message me if you want to. But I love talking about relationships. Again, I went to Chi Alpha. I've been there. Sean was my pastor, and I was at ASU, so I very much understand, where you're at right now. So I was there too. But thanks for listening, and have a great rest of your week. God bless, and we'll see you later. Bye.